The NFL has its fair share of surprises for the players and team on board, but it looks like the 2022 season won't be easy for anyone involved. No matter how many stars in one team, there are still some hurdles each team needs to tackle to make a name for themselves in the league. Let's find out what each has on their plate this season. First off, Cincinnati Bengals. The biggest problem for Cincinnati now is to prevent post-Super Bowl hangovers and showcase their durability, which shouldn't be very hard, but let's see how they conquer this. The Bengals stunned the football world by winning the Super Bowl and coming within a whisker of capturing the championship. They must now prove they belong among the league's best teams, which is the difficult part. This offseason, they focused on improving the offensive line and secondary, two of their most pressing concerns, while also bringing in some of the top young offensive talents in the NFL, playing one of the most difficult divisions in sport, and facing a scheduling gauntlet that includes 7 of the first 11 away games. They won't be creeping up on anybody this time. Next, Arizona Cardinals. Now, while the Bengals didn't have a lot on their plate, the Cardinals have gotten into a storm of trouble, and among all the chaos, developing a consistent pass rush is their toughest challenge. In the absence of banned wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, particularly following Christian Kirk's exit as a free agent, the hitters will have a tough time. Chandler Jones' departure left a massive hole in the pass rush even after it was announced that offseason signing Marquise Brown would begin camp on the non-football injury list. Golden and J.J. Watt are returning, but rookies Thomas and Myjai Sanders may have to be ready to start from scratch. And then, Baltimore Ravens. Problem number 1 is whether the strong pass rush will be enough. Problem number 2 for the Ravens is that the group is still searching for help after the tragic loss of Jalen Ferguson, and with Tyus Bowser still healing from his Achilles injury. Judging from the current situation, Odafe Ove, an outstanding rookie last year, will be there. After the Ravens' contract with Za'Darius Smith fell through, their lone addition to the veterans was a re-signing of second-round pick David Ojabo, who is still unsigned at the time of this writing. Plus, Justin Houston is a 33-year-old man. Baltimore may search for a defensiveman capable of turning up the heat against the pass. Next up, Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson's hesitation is the toughest challenge for them. The Browns had a whole year to prepare for his expected suspension, but they still don't know how long they'll be without their presumed star quarterback. In massage therapy sessions, Watson was accused of sexual abuse and misbehavior by his clients. After an independent inquiry as to whether he violated the NFL's conduct rules, he might face disciplinary action from the league. His primary backup is Jacoby Brissett, with Joshua Dobbs and newcomer Josh Rosen rounding out the quarterback depth chart. To go through the preseason without a season-long punishment, $230 million quarterback Deshaun Watson must take repeated shots at the goalposts. Moving on, Detroit Lions. The most difficult part of the game for them is developing a rhythm and a voice on offense, particularly when the ball is passed. Tight end T.J. Hawkinson is returning from injury, and wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown has the makings of a star. But there are still many unanswered concerns, including how Ben Johnson's offense will look in his first season as offensive coordinator. Goff found his footing with Dan Campbell, the play-by-play man, at the end of the previous season. Plus, he will have 2 new targets in wide receiver DJ Chark and first-round pick Jameson Williams, who is currently on the list of puppies due to his ongoing recovery from an anterior cruciate ligament tear suffered in the national championship game. And Indianapolis Colts. Finding a starting wide receiver to replace Michael Pittman Jr. is their most difficult task. Even though GM Chris Ballard made it obvious that he hasn't ruled out a reunion with T.Y. Hilton, the Colts' current roster is riddled with uncertainty. As a second-round choice, Alec Pierce will be given an excellent opportunity to start, and Paris Campbell, a 4th-year veteran, is likely to be his main opponent. We've also heard good things about Ashton Dulin, Desmond Patman, who scored Arizona's game-winning touchdown in Week 16, and Mike Strachan, the king-sized project. Next, Jacksonville Jaguars. This team might look like they have everything spotted, but they are far from it. The Jacksonville Jaguars hold the first choice in the draft for the 2nd year in a row. In last year's draft, Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence was taken first overall, and now they need to see what kind of potential he has. They're most likely to choose an offensive lineman or pass rusher right now, with names like Oregon defensive end Kayvon Thibodeau and Michigan defensive end Aiden Hutchinson and Alabama offensive tackle Evan Neal among the early frontrunners. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be anybody in the draft who can fill that void in the Jaguars receiving corps. Sounds like trouble in paradise to us. They'll be thinking about selling, but finding a buyer will be difficult. Also, Atlanta Falcons. Now for the Falcons. With the trade of Matt Ryan, they have the greatest challenge in coming up with a strong pass. The team is traded for Colts quarterback Peyton Ryan, who has been a cornerstone of the team since 2008. There are short-term and long-term replacements on the list, but the issue is how successful they will be. Marcus Mariota is the presumed starter because of his familiarity with current coach Arthur Smith, while 3rd-round pick Desmond Ridder is expected to make an impact. No experienced pass catchers are now on the roster, so will this season or the next one be a problem for them? Not to forget the Chicago Bears. Now, the Chicago Bears too have some sticky situations to deal with. Their toughest challenge is bringing together a strong support network network for the famous Justin Fields. Matt Eberfluss and Luke Getsy are the new head coach and play caller for Fields, who has been both a hot and cold rookie with Matt Nagy. There is a chance that the Bears' early game attack might be slowed down by Fields attempting to adapt to the unfamiliar configuration. A clear transition solution may not exist for the offensive line or receiver concerns that need to be handled. And Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are among the best, but improving the line of assault is the toughest challenge for them right now. In the aftermath of exits of Connor Williams and Lael Collins, Dallas's offensive line must emerge as a strong unit. Since 2015, Tyrone Smith has not played a complete season as a left tackle, missing 6 games in 2021 and all but 2 matches in 2020. Right tackle Terrence Steele and center Tyler Biadache weren't pleased, and youngster Tyler Smith at left back may not be instant coffee either, provided he secures a starting position. Next, Buffalo Bills. Defining the CB2 team is the greatest issue for them. Even though the Bills haven't specified when star Tre'Davious White will return from his ACL injury suffered in November, he's anticipated to take one of the off-corner spots whenever he does. White is presently on the injured list. While Kaiir Elam, a first-round choice with the length to cope with larger targets, should be the favorite to take on this opponent, many doubt his immediate preparedness until he can show it. How about someone else? Dane Jackson or Siran Neal may step up, but there's some uncertainty about the depth in the corner. And Carolina Panthers. Baker Mayfield's preparation for the QB battle is their most bothersome dilemma. A month ago, the Panthers announced that Mayfield would compete with Sam Darnold for the starting quarterback position. There's no doubt that the Panthers want Mayfield to take the post, but they haven't traded for it sooner. Discussion between the Carolinas and Cleveland over a possible transaction stretches back to the NFL draft, causing him to miss out on critical practice time. Now, there's only one person who can save the team, Mayfield, who has already learned the system and outplayed Darnold in training camp and preseason. And in other NFL news, first off, NFL suspended Stephen Ross for tampering. The NFL has issued a 6-game suspension for interference with former Saints head coach Sean Payton and Buccaneers QB Tom Brady. Yikes. Former U.S. Attorney Mary Jo White led an investigation into impermissible communications with Brady on 2 separate occasions, first in 2019 when the quarterback was playing for the rival Patriots, and then in and after the 2020 season when he retired and later returned to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he had previously served as a coach. Also, Dallas Cowboy ranked most valuable sports franchise. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has said he'll never sell the team. Sportivo has it appraised at $7.64 billion, which makes it the most valuable club in all sports. NFL clubs Dallas, LA Rams, and New England Patriot have real estate projects and other enterprises that make them the league's top 3 most valuable franchises. Several NFL clubs have joint ventures with the Cowboys hospitality organization as well, so they defo have a lot going on. Finally, James Washington injured during training. James was supposed to help with Cooper leaving for the Dallas Cowboys, but luck isn't on their side. On the first day of training camp, James ended up with a fractured foot, according to various accounts. What's more, he requires surgery and will be out for up to 10 weeks. That's a wrap for this video. See you in the next one.